You're able to join us for another NenTot Tuesday. Today, I've got Justin Wholey online with us today, and he's going to talk about contract initiation and revenue recovery, along with a couple of other guests got with us. Justin, I'm going to turn things over to you. Welcome aboard, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, glad to be here. So again, I'm Justin Wholey, and I've joined a few other folks in the room that are going to be part of the agricultural sale adjudication process. So we've got Leah Goodrich, who's lead in a little bit. And we've got a Brandon Phillips back here. And they're both on the land conveyance section team or the sales team. And we've got one person from Contracts and Michelle Thaman. And so the group of three of us will be kind of, as people submit documents to us, making payments, we'll get that stuff together. And once we have all the things we need for contracts and whatnot, we'll pass it on to CIRR. And so we've got a few of those folks in the room today. So really just want to kind of go over the paperwork that the email award letter that we sent out to everyone. So everyone should have received this. And if for some reason you haven't, get a hold of us. Our number is 907-269-8594. And so first I'm just going to pull up the award letter and just kind of point out some highlights of that. And then we'll just kind of go over the attachments that came with the award letter. Some of those are required and others aren't. So I just want to clarify that a little more with folks. But not to share my screen, I'm just going to pull up. First, I got an example award letter. Let's see, host disabled participant screen sharing. Maybe you have to click.
All right, sorry folks, let's go ahead and make sure Justin can share his screen. I thought I'd enabled that earlier. Let's see if we can fix that. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give it another try there.
There we go. Okay. So I've got, there's this, it's just started sharing now.
Got it.
Cool. Is that coming in clear? Is there too much stuff in the background? We can maximize this. There we go. That's a little better. So yeah, so here's the award email that we sent out to folks shortly after the auction ended. And so it's got pretty much all the things that you need to kind of know to move forward. But I just wanted to point out a few things on this letter. And again, if you received this, you can just kind of read back through it. And if you have any questions, of course, you can get a hold of us on the land conveyance section. But it's essentially just has the congratulations. It's got the parcel number and ADL. It's got the bid amount, the deposit, and the balance. So it's got the amounts that we'll need at some point to move forward. And probably the deadline coming up soon is December 7th. And so that's when we need to have declaration of intent form, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Any contract or patent fees and eligibility documentation. So that's December 7th, 4:30 p.m. So we just need to get that stuff together to be able to move forward to the next step. We've also got our farm conservation or state conservation plan. I know talked about that a little bit on previous versions of the NenTot Tuesday. But we're looking to have that. Let's see, it's in March. Just going through the date. Oh yeah, March 16th, 2023. So we got a little time to do that. But if you're able to get that into the Soil and Conservation District, Fairbanks Soil and Water Conservation District, then they can kind of look through it, make sure it's okay, and pass it along to ag, and then we can get the contract started a little bit faster. And that's the kind of the last thing we need, among other things, to move forward in the process. So those are the two things I kind of wanted to highlight on the award letter. I'm just going to open up another document. So now I'm going to move on to the attachments that came attached to the award letter. So pull up. First, we'll look at so this is our declaration intent form, and this one's important so we know what exactly folks want to do with their purchase. I won't go over every little thing, but I will just kind of quickly go through this part. One thing I wanted to bring up is, so we've got purchaser one, we've also got purchaser two. If you were a lone bidder on a parcel, but you want to add someone else, you can add someone else, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. But at this time, we just want to have like the original bidder here. And if there's another person, we can address that in the assignment form a little bit down the road. I just want to point out a couple things on here. This form we use for residential auctions as well as agricultural. So it does say right here, business organization, over-the-counter purchases only. We do understand that there will be people that did bid as a business, but it's not over the counter. So you can disregard this just for this form. I also wanted to point out, so it asks about the veterans discount. So that's actually only applicable to our residential land program. So you can just write NA here and disregard that because it just isn't something that's going to be part of the system that we use. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I want to just focus on a couple things. I know some people have started making payments and whatnot, and so right here it kind of just lists the debt. Here's the down payment, contract application fee, and the recording fee. If you need any of those numbers verified by us, then you can always give us a call. But these will be in that award email, and so there's that. And if it's already been paid, just write paid on those in that declaration of intent, or fill it out digitally. And so that's for the payment. I'm gonna go down and make sure we got your signature on there. The other thing I wanted to point out is, so for a credit card payment, you can fill out your credit card information on this form if you like, which will be probably easy. But if you feel better about either going into the Fairbanks or Anchorage Public Information Center, you can do it in person. You can also give the Public Information Center a call and have it charged that way. And their number is 907-269-8400. And again, if you need that stuff repeated or anything, just give us a call and we can send you in the right direction. And so now I'm going to move on to the next document. So the one I just showed you, we absolutely need that to move forward. We also have the auction winner checklist. I'd like to see that people turn this in as well. It just kind of helps guide you a little bit on the payments and whatnot. So I'm just going to kind of show it's just a checklist, and it's got the address on there where to send documents and fees to, which is helpful. So that's the second attachment. I'm going to move on to the next thing that we'll absolutely need by that March deadline, is the State Farm Conservation Plan. I know there's a lot of talk about this in a previous version of NenTot Tuesday, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. If you have any detailed questions, it'd probably be best to either get a hold of the Division of Ag or the Fairbanks Soil Water Conservation District. And we can definitely send you in the right direction if you make it our way. We can help you out with that. But I just wanted to just briefly mention that that's another thing that we'll need to receive before going into contract. So the next thing, this is optional. If anybody bid on a parcel and they want to add someone to the contract, they can do so by this form. You can also remove people, but usually what folks end up doing is maybe they bid by themselves, they want to add their wife. So I just want to go briefly over how to fill this out because it's not exactly intuitive. And so put your ADL number of the parcel that you won. And so signer one is going to be that original bidder. And you'll just put the contact information now, check the boxes that are appropriate. And then we'll go to the second page. We'll skip over signer two for this example. And so now you would write the original bidder as assignee one, but you'd also add that additional person on here in assignee two. So if you put one bid in, you want to add someone on there, you start off, you just put assigner one, and then you fill out assignee one and assignee two's information, and that's what gets that process going. There's a fee of $265. They'll need to be paid before that goes into effect. But I just wanted to kind of explain that real quick for everybody. Wasn't apparent what that form was for. So now I'm going to move on. So I talked briefly about folks submitting as a business before. This is another attachment to that email. So we realize there's going to be some people that are businesses or LLCs are going to that bid on parcels. So we need a little more information from those folks. And so I won't I'm not going to go through and read all the details, but the first thing to do is just kind of review this. This are some documents that folks that have an LLC of a business will likely have. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. We can try to help you the best we can. But there's a few things we need in here that are in addition to if you were just bidding as a private individual. So just keep that in mind that we'll need a few extra documents for LLCs. And then we've got the last thing we've got is one of the attachments, and this is more informational, but it's really just a clip from the brochure, kind of describing who's eligible to purchase land. And there's not very many restrictions on who can purchase or who could bid in the auction, but you just have to make sure you're 18 years or older, and non-residents were eligible. So we really just need to make sure that someone's 18 years old and has a valid government ID that provides us, but that's usually pretty easy to figure out. But that is the other thing that we've included on here. And so those are kind of those are the documents that that came attached to that email. And so that's pretty much got everything that you'll need to move forward. I guess I just want to bring up one more thing about the deadlines once more. Just make sure if you're gonna if you do submit your farm conservation plan earlier, it's likely that your contract will be executed earlier. And I know that's kind of on people's mind because interest rates have been going up lately. So just something to think about as you're moving forward. And I'm just going to defer to see if anyone else has anything that they want to add to the conversation, if they heard anything they want to mention. But otherwise, that's kind of my spiel. Did you have something, Brandon?
Yeah, I'll scoot up here for a second. So I think we've been mainly focusing on people that won some of these parcels in the auction through our outreach so far, but we do have a few other folks that purchased new NenTot parcels through the OTC offering. A couple of those individuals had already won parcels in the auction, so I think they'll be up to speed for their farm conservation plans. And we have reached out to the individual who had not won some in the auction. So their paperwork will look a little bit different, but it is essentially the same stuff. You'll still have to submit your state farm conservation plan by that March deadline for the OTC parcels as well, because they're still going to be agricultural parcels and they'll still be treated the same way. And all the OTC stuff is all online, so the other stuff is a little bit more straightforward with that, and is pretty much totally complete. You just need to send us your ID, which I know we've already got from a couple of people. And if you were to want to fill out an assignment for that, we can work through that with you as well. But just want everybody to know that will apply to the OTC sales as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. That additional. And yeah, I guess at this point, if there's any specific questions that anyone has, try to get them answered. Or otherwise, I'll probably just mute and kind of follow along. And if I hear anything that sounds like might need a little more information, I can chime in as needed.
Great. That's awesome. I do have a couple of questions. I probably can stop sharing that screen now too, I would imagine, right? Unless you're going to touch on any other aspects of that. But I have one question that pertains directly to the conservation plan itself. They're wondering if there are any examples online of conservation plans for them to look at. Adrian asks, is there a state conservation plan that is available to see what is being looked for? So
I'm not aware of any of those being available online right now. I was watching the one of the early presentations. I know that the Fairbanks Soil and Water Conservation District mentioned that they were going to try to get some to put up there. I think I'm guessing if someone were to reach out and be like, hey, do you have this? They'd probably be able to help out with that as well. But I don't have any, I'm not aware of any access to it them at this moment.
That was my memory as well, that they mentioned that briefly in a previous live. And so maybe we need to shoot them an email and see what the status is of making those available, if that is indeed possible. I have another question that is not directly related, but it is a document related question. Adrian is wondering what paperwork they need to fill out to add a name to the 2 parcels that they bought over the counter. So I believe they own several parcels, and on the ones that they bought in auction, both they have 2 names on those parcels, and on the ones that were over the counter, there's only 1 name, and they would like to add a second name to that parcel.
Yeah, so they can fill out that assignment form, and I believe it probably came with the OTC award letter.
The OTC award letter is auto-generated, so I don't think the assignment's actually with that, but I can get those assignment forms sent out. And I'll double check everybody's as well and see the folks that were added on there. But I can get those sent out to you in the email. We don't often have ag OTC sales in our office, so that's one that we've been kind of working through to get everybody on the same page. But you can certainly do the same process, and we can provide you those forms.
Awesome. Okay.
And we can reach out to Adrian directly too with that form.
That'd be even better. Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that anybody else wanted to touch on for this live before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think we're good on this end. I don't know if there's a way to make sure, like, people have our phone numbers from the email or letters, but if there's a way to post our office phone number, that would probably be helpful for folks too, if they're not, they don't have that.
Yeah, go ahead and read it out, and then I'll add it later in the comments as well.
Okay, yeah, it's and this is our front desk number, so it'll go both to either contracts or land conveyance section, depending on who they ask for. But it's 907-269-8594.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll be sure that that's in the comments for folks.
Okay.
Good deal. Well, I thank you for all taking the time this afternoon to join us and to help continue to educate everybody along as we go through this process.
Yeah, there's some moving parts, so it's good to try to explain a little bit more.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see everybody. For those of you who are out there viewing, we'll see all of you next Tuesday. And Justin and everyone else, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.